Everyone's obsessed with building AI agents right now, but a lot of them are trying to solve problems that don't really exist and are not practical in the real business world. Remember that just because you can automate something doesn't mean you should. Like, for example, this tutorial on how to create viral talking baby podcasts with AI. So today I'm going to go through the 8 most popular AI agents and automations that you see everywhere and that sound really good on paper, but that you should probably not build. And I'll tell you exactly what you should do instead. And number 1 is going to be RAG systems. Now, RAG systems were one of the first use cases for AI automations. And if you don't know what we're talking about here, essentially a RAG is a way to store data and documents into a vectorial database, which sort of makes it easier for AI, for example, to sort of search these documents and find the relevant information to answer a questions or just to give you information without having you to manually look through all of those documents. Now, what this workflow look like is usually that you're gonna have some documents that you put in the vector database. It's going to be stored. And then in the second instance, to go into that vectorial database and find the information relevant to a question, for example, using the brain of an LLM model to sort of power the whole thing. Now, don't get me wrong, RAGs can be a very good workflow to have in very specific use cases, especially if you have a large amount of documents. In that case, it would work better than a custom GPT where you can also upload documents for the AI to search through, but you're going to hit this context window problems where it's not actually going to look at all of your documents. But the truth is, for most people and how they're going to use the RAG, it's mostly overkill. Like, you don't need to build a RAG system to search through your 3 Google Docs. And you'll waste and spend a lot of time just to build the thing, maintain it, and pay for all of the cost that comes with it. So instead, what you should do is probably use something like either a custom GPT if you have a low amount of documents, but if you have more, I think using something like Notebook LM is just going to work as well. And that's a place where you can really upload a bunch of documents and sort of ask anything that you want to search and find in those documents. And recently they made an update where you can easily share those notes with everyone publicly. So that makes it a pretty good client-facing tool that you can send to everyone as well. If you have more advanced needs, then maybe use a RAG SaaS AI tool like Sana AI, for example. Again, these are going to be SaaS. That makes it a lot easier to create those RAGs rather than just trying to create yourself on N8N. The next one is the personal AI agent. And I'm sure we've all seen these N8 workflow demos before. Like, hey, can you create a meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. with James? Hey, can you move my meeting by 30 minutes tomorrow and send an email to Jack to tell him I'll be late? I mean, I'm making fun of it a little bit here, but in theory, it sounds really cool to have this own personal assistant of yours that can take care of this task for you. But I didn't know you guys were all Jeff Bezos or something. Because unless your schedule is jam-packed with meetings and you only have time to send a quick voice message to your agent to move a couple meetings in between, signing $2 billion deals, then you don't really need this. Because is it really that hard to just come into your Google Calendar and then just adjust the date like such and move the meeting that way? It literally takes 30 seconds. And you probably don't need to do this more than like twice a month. So there's just no AI agents needed here. The next one is the inbox labeler. Now, just to be honest, this is one that I've talked about and recommended before. Now, what I'm talking about here is a workflow that will allow to sort of label all of the messages that come into your inbox, depending on sort of the context and what the message is about. So that then when you actually get to your inbox, it's all labeled, it's all pre-drafted, it's all sort of organized for you to spend as little time as possible in your inbox. And if you really get hundreds of emails into that inbox every day, then maybe it's useful. But again, for most people managing their personal or professional inbox, that's probably overkill, at least to get so complex with it. Because you probably don't get more than, 30 emails every day into your inbox. In fact, just spending some time setting up the native labeling into your inbox, like Gmail, for example, they have those labels and rules that you can set up, on top of having some of those template messages that you can have to respond to the most common emails that you get and just adapt it and send it away. That's probably the more useful setup you can have. Or if you can't help yourself and really want to get fancy with it, then maybe use a SaaS, an email client like Superhuman or Spark Mail. That would easily do the job. The next one is those book me a flight browser agents. And this is offered by most of the AI browser agents. And most recently, we've seen this with OpenAI Operator that's supposed to do this for you. Or again, you just tell them where you want to go this summer and it will book you the flight. And it does sound really cool. I mean, just sitting back and telling the agents to go and book you that flight, which is usually a pretty boring and cumbersome process. But the truth is that it actually pretty much never works. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm super excited and super bullish on AI browsing agents. I really think it's going to be the next step to fully automate some workflows that used to take hours. And it's going to help fill the gap with things that N8 can't do. For example, when you don't have an API or you don't have an MCP credential, there are things that just require going on your browser and logging into your platform and then execute a few actions. Those are things that you can really automate with backend access. And those are the things that AI browser agents can do. But in the cases that we're looking at here, like booking me a flight, well, first of all, it's not really working. wrong most of the time. And second of all, it's taking forever and it's not really saving you any time. I mean, a lot of the demos that you see are just demos. And when you actually try it on your end, it takes forever, it gets it wrong, and I wouldn't give it my credit card. Now, there are a few very specific tasks that can be automated with AI browser agents. And if you want me to do a whole video on this, just let me know in the comments. For example, automated bulk application or social media engagements using platforms like Skyvern or Airtop AI, but it doesn't really work outside of these very narrow and pre-trained actions. The next one is the social media scheduler agent. That's the one that would take one of your pieces of content and automatically turn it into a post on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, and MySpace. Now, it does sound great because in theory, that's what you should do. I mean, if you create long form pieces of content, you should repurpose it into smaller form of content on other platforms and just sort of squeeze out the most value out of this one piece of content. But here are really two reasons why it doesn't work. For one is that out of the box, the quality of this post is probably going to be terrible. And that's why you would need a human in the loop, because even if you refine and test the prompt and really just, try to get it right, the output will be just so random that you probably don't want to just, go ahead and publish it without taking a look at it. Unless you don't care that much about the quality and you just want to tick that box of, I posted on Twitter today, so I'm good. Also, it's not really an intelligent way to repurpose your content. I mean, I'm not a content marketing expert, but, each platform has its own language, its own code. And so just having the AI just sort of repurpose one piece of content for one platform into another smaller piece of content for a different platform, usually that content is not going to perform really well. So what to do instead? I think AI is definitely really good at giving you ideas on how to repurpose content. So maybe just having a similar workflow, but at the end of it, it's not going to just push the post live, but it's going to be a draft that you can go in, take a look, make it better, make it actually sound like you, and then manually post it. The next one is the viral short machine and faceless videos. Okay, so I don't know how serious this one actually is, but it's about creating viral faceless short videos for social media. And it does sound good in theory. I mean, most people wanted to get some visibility online. A, don't have the time to create content, and B, don't want to show their face. But I'm just wondering, who is this really for? Because no offense, but if I was to see this in my social media feed, I would probably just think that it's kind of weird. Because the true thing is that short form content that actually works is a lot of work. It's not just about posting random content just to tick that box. I mean, for this to work, you have to have really good hooks and, good content and something very visual. And these are probably not going to work. So I think a better use of AI here would be to get suggestions on how to repurpose your long form content into short form content. So for example, if you just take the script of your YouTube videos and you put that into ChatGPT and ask to identify what part of this video could be good for a shorts. And the last one is lead calling. This one is a perfect example of something that looks really, really, really cool with AI, but no actual business would use. So this is an AI voice system that would do the cold calling of your leads and try to close them for you. I mean, in theory, it sounds really cool. Like it's not that hard to get a list of thousands of people and their phone number that could be potential prospect for your product. And then have the AI to do the cold calling because no actual human likes to do this. So if this would actually work, then sign me up for it. But let me actually demonstrate what it really looks like.
Hey John Doe, I am Jarvis with Apex Auto Garage. Am I catching you at a good time?
Yeah, who's this and how did you get my number?
Hi John, I am Jarvis from Apex Auto Garage in San Francisco. You visited us on May 14th, 25 for an oil change on your Mercedes C300. I'm calling to offer a free brake and tire inspection until July 31st. Do you have 5 minutes?
Yeah, no thank you. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I was on the receiving end of that call, I would hang up instantly. I would probably hang up on any cold calling, even if it was a human, but even more so if it was some kind of robot AI that would talk to me. I mean, I might think it's funny, but there's no way that I would actually follow through and give them my credit card details. So what to do instead? I mean, there are a lot of ways that AI can help other than cold calling for your outbound marketing. So for example, you can have a workflow that would scrap and find new leads, enrich those leads, again, with the deep research sort of functions to find more information about that person so that you can send a personalized and customized message and contact that person via email, via message, via social media. So doing this kind of outbound in a text format is definitely something that AI is good enough to do now. But when it comes to actually hopping on a sales call and closing the client, that's still going to be something that you still want a good old flesh and bone human to do for you. So again, next time that you see those flashy demos and new N88 workflows, before implementing it, ask yourself, is this really useful? Is this really something that my business needs? Is there maybe an easier way or tool that I can use to achieve the same thing before getting too excited and implementing it in your business? Now, if you want to understand a little bit more about how to approach those automations, how to think about it and plan for it, I made a whole video going through some real world use cases and how I would do this just to show you sort of the process and help you do it for yourself. Or if you just want to keep updated with new AI automations and workflows, then go ahead and subscribe to my free newsletter. That's going to be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.